Hey guys, so today I wanted to film a video that I haven't really seen much of, but I'm sure other people have done it. But today I wanted to be showing you books that I have read and I have enjoyed, and that I think a lot of teens would enjoy. So today I'm just going to be showing you a lot of books that I've read, enjoyed, and I want to share with you guys. And I'm not going to spoil any of the books, but I do want to share kind of what made me like them so much and what I think you guys like about them too. Hope you enjoy. Okay, so to start out this video, I kind of wanted to start it with a video that I had to read for school, but I think it still stays being one of my favorite books I've ever read. And that book is Feed. So Feed is a book by M.T. Anderson, and it's a sci-fi futuristic kind of book, which I'm already very into sci-fi. That's probably my favorite genre of both movies and books. I'm very into sci-fi because I'm just a sciencey kind of person. And also, the very end, or throughout the book, they have little bits of romance, which also very much suits me because I love romance in TV shows a lot. I love seeing couples and watching them grow and things like that. So seeing romance and sci-fi come together in one book, that was an amazing book to me. And not only was it because those two genres, but also because the storyline and the conflict and everything in the book was very, very interesting to me. And my mom read this, and she didn't enjoy it too much, but I think that is because I was younger when I read it, and not younger, but like a teenager when I read it, and she was not a teenager, so I think this is more based towards teenagers, which is why I believe teenagers would enjoy this more. So I think this would be a good book to read if you're into sci-fi, even if it does hint at a little bit of romance. I think boys still could enjoy this book because there's not that much romance. It's mostly sci-fi, but I do think it's a great book. My next book is a very basic book. A lot of people loved this movie, and I haven't heard too much of people's reviews on the book, but I believe that this is an amazing book. I read it maybe 3 times, and that is The Fault in Our Stars. So this is by John Green, who is very famous for his writings, and I have only read one other of his books, which is Paper Towns, and I did enjoy that book, but just not as much as I loved The Fault in Our Stars. I read it 3 times, as I said before. Once was because we were doing testing in middle school, and when I finished the book, I was about to start crying, and we were in school, and I was like, please do not start crying during school, because I don't want to do that. So I loved this book not only because of the romance in it, which again, it was very romance. Like, if you've seen the movie and you've heard about this book, then you know it's mostly based on romance. I think people that don't enjoy reading about romance and relationships would not enjoy this book, because I think that's why I liked it the most, was because of the romance and the relationship between the two characters. But if you are someone that loves to read about that kind of stuff, you might enjoy this. Also, the storyline of this book was amazing to me, and I was able to read it more than once because of how interesting it was, and just how you could interpret it so many different ways when you read it. The different times you can get different things from it. So that's why I love this book so much. My next book was recently made into a film on Netflix, and it got kind of popular. I watched the movie 10 times in a matter of like a month, and most of the times I watched it was in 1 week because I really loved the movie. And every time you watch it, you see a little more details of it. And that movie is The Kissing Booth. And this book, it looks like it's really thick, but the words are pretty big, so it's not that big. But this book and the movie were both amazing because I am a sucker for a romance, as I've said, and so watching relationships and reading relationships are amazing to me. And usually when I watch a movie and then read the book, I like the book better because I'm getting more details and more description. But this time, I don't like either of them better. And it's not because they're 2 different storylines. They're just alike. And I get that movies can't include every single detail that the book says. So the book reading the book after I watched the movie, I just got to see a little more into each character and got to know a little more about each event. And they had some new events, which I did enjoy. And the movie didn't have like maybe one scene in the movie that wasn't in the book. And that's what I loved. I loved that they didn't just go like use the characters and make a whole different story. They used the book and they made the book into the movie. And I think that's why I was able to enjoy both the movie and the book so much. But this book, I think, is again targeted mainly towards romance people. If you like drama, you might like this. It has drama in it. It has romance. I think it's very relatable for teenagers only because they're in high school and they talk about high school. And I think it's a great book for teens because of how relatable it can be, and because the sense of relationship maybe isn't relatable because it's kind of unrealistic, again, going into the like destined to be together or like star-crossed lovers. But the end of the book is very realistic, as in they don't expect to be together forever just because they started dating. And that does kind of open people's eyes if they do think, oh, if I date somebody in high school, we're going to last forever. And that's not always true. And that book does try to tell you that towards the end of the book. So I think this is a great book for somebody that loves to read about romance or just loves to read about teen things. And it's a great movie to watch on Netflix right now. It has Joey King, who is a great woman, Jacob Elordi, and he is amazing as well. He's a great actor, and Joel Courtney. And he is amazing. He recognized me on the live stream. That was amazing. He seems to be a great guy, and I love all three of them. They seem amazing. I love watching their interviews and stuff like that. So just the book and the movie, the franchise, just everything about it I love, and I recommend to most of you out there. So my next book is more of books because it is a series, but I loved the series. I read it so quickly, and it was amazing to me. I only do have 2 of the books with me right now, but it is a 3-book series, and that is the Divergent series. So there's Divergent, Insurgent, and there's Allegiant. But I read all of these books on an app, and so I read this on Overdrive, and this is an app where you can download books using your library card, and this allows you to check out books like you're at a library, but it's online, so you don't have to do the hassle of going to the library and turning the books in. So you never really have to worry about a late fee because they just take the book back when you're done or when your time is up. And I love this app. It's not sponsored, obviously, but I love this app because it allows me to get books on hand, and the Kissing Booth was on there. You had to get it and wait in line because other people have already gotten it. And also I'm waiting to read Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda, and that is on there too. They have so many books that are amazing, and they have so many books on there that are available, ready for you to just download when you want them. And once you download them, you can use it offline, I'm pretty sure. And yeah, this is a great app, especially if you're somebody that likes to read a lot. The 2 books, Divergent, Insurgent, Allegiant, all 3 books, they were amazing to me because of the sci-fi futuristicness of them, which I love. I love reading about dystopias and stuff like that. But also, again, because of the romance between 2 of the characters, I loved the relationship between them, and reading about it was so much better than the movies. The movies I think are still great, but the book gives you details and descriptions that I couldn't even imagine, and it just made the experience of reading it so much better, and I loved reading these books. These books, I was obsessed with them for a little while, but I just think they're amazing, and they're great for somebody that likes to read about sci-fi and romance again. But this one is a little more romantic than Feed, so. Lastly is a much bigger series, and this is for somebody that may not be the biggest on reading, but would like to have a story or something. And I did read this when I was a little younger, but this is the Diary of a Wimpy Kid series, and I really loved this series. I have 4 of the books with me now, the first 4, and I haven't read all of them because I just didn't have the access and time to. But this book is more of a kind of like a comic-y kind of vibe. It has pictures in it, and the words are pretty big. I loved reading this, and the way that it was kind of like reading somebody's diary. I loved that. I also liked those other books where they're people's diaries. Those kind of books I used to love. So this may be good for somebody a little younger, but if this is your kind of vibe when you're older or anything, anybody could read this. This is a great book. It's not like deep thinking or anything, which most of these weren't deep thinking, but these books, all of them that I read, I thought were amazing, and they just were a good easy read when I just wanted something to do. Instead of maybe watching YouTube or watching Netflix, I could just pick up one of these books and I'd get through it in a couple hours because they're pretty easy reads. But they're just good to have something to do. And yeah, those were all the books that I wanted to show you today. I have read more books than this, and I would recommend more books than this, but this is all I thought to do today. Okay, so that was the video, and I hope you enjoyed. So if you are into reading and that's your kind of thing, then I think you should try and read these books, because I enjoyed them, and I think you might too. So if you want, subscribe to see more content from me, and I'm going to be filming more often and uploading more often too. And I have learned a couple things with editing, so I'm hoping to use those in my upcoming videos. So subscribe if you want to see more content, and thank you for watching. Peace!